more peace, more love, more life, more determination to get some things right. Love ain't.
Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome to Ultraviolet Thoughts. My name is Jessica Winans. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and intuitive business social media strategist in San Diego, California. I'm here today with the lovely Vanessa Ooms. She is a content creator. She's like the epitome of the creatrix. She talks about spirituality, metaphysics, and personal development on her YouTube and on social media. And she's also a conscious entrepreneur. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Jess. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. I would love to hear really about how you kind of stumbled into your spiritual path.
Okay. It's kind of interesting. When I was living in Vancouver, actually about 10 years ago, I was having panic attacks a lot. And it was just like, I was anxious all the time and I didn't really know what was going on. And I was prescribed Ativan and I didn't want to take it. And so I started looking for ways to just naturally minimize my anxiety. And that got me into meditation. And before I knew it, I was able to read on public transit and not feel motion sickness. And so that caused me to just start looking into more, like, why is this happening? Why is meditation affecting me so profoundly? And that kind of led me down a rabbit hole until I had kind of a huge spiritual awakening about 5 years ago.
Okay. I love that you laugh when you said that, because I think everybody has this perception that, well, we have this perception before we go through it that like a spiritual awakening is so fun and like fresh and like you just picture like eat, pray, love vibes all the time. And the reality is like you're actually on the floor in your closet crying, or like some sort of traumatic experience happens to you. I just want to ask you what you'd be comfortable sharing with us. You know, what was that spiritual awakening like 5 years ago? What happened? What prompted it?
Well, a whole bunch of traumatic stuff happened. And it wasn't like, it wasn't the sunshine and rainbows kind of thing. So pretty much all at once, my relationship fell apart. I lost my business that we had been running together. My grandmother passed away, and then my uncle passed away, and it just all hit me. And I was sitting on my kitchen floor bawling my eyes out for however long, and all of a sudden I just felt all of this energy pooling at the base of my spine, and it got like hotter and hotter and hotter and eventually just like shot up my spine and through the top of my head. And it was just like I was overwhelmed with this sense of love and wonderment. I was seeing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it was just like the weirdest experience. And like changed my whole life.
It's so beautiful, and you see everything so differently now.
Yeah, I do. And it just there's been lots of smaller awakenings after that too. Like I think you've experienced that as well, where it kind of comes in waves.
Oh yeah, it's like you have one traumatic experience. Like I'll share a little bit, but thank you for sharing that. I think my first was a car accident, and like leading up to it, it was like the person I was dating at the time, I just found out was cheating on me with my best friend. Like I was working this crazy job, like an hour and a half away from where I lived. I was going to school full time. And I remember I was so sick, and I was driving to this fucking like charity boxing tournament. And I remember being so annoyed because I was like, I'm supposed to focus on this right now when my heart is broken. Like, fuck this. So I'm like driving on the highway. I just like slammed right into the car in front of me. And I actually blacked out and pushed on the gas instead of the brake. So I just continued like crashing into this huge vehicle. So thankfully for the people involved in there, they were fine. But me, I was like a peanut. Like my car is just like recording into me. And I remember I looked down at the steering wheel, and that was the first time I ever had an out of body experience. And I remember like looking at my hands, and they didn't look like mine, you know? And just the first thing that came to my mind was, what the fuck? How did I get here? And that like, how did I get here has come up so many times since then. And those little awakenings, right? It's like you have that big aha, and then you completely change everything. Like I literally moved across the country the next month. and left everything, which is kind of like, I need to start over. And then since then, these little things like a fainting spell or another car accident or a bad breakup or like a health scare. And it's like that same, how did I get here? Right. But for me, I think the spiritual journey is realizing that you are exactly where you need to be all the time. And it doesn't really matter how you got there. It matters where you're going,
Totally.
And like the less, like something I'm learning, especially literally right now after like a week of crazy like shadow work, is some things like don't need explanations. Like, because it's like, what are we supposed to do? Just like analyze things all the time? I don't know. I feel like as spiritual people, like we do that sometimes. We get so in our heads, or we get so in like our community, or so involved in the work that we forget that like not everything needs to be analyzed.
Well, exactly. And as humans, we're meaning-making machines. We want everything to have meaning. We want to analyze the shit out of it and just like figure out why this is happening exactly the way it's happening. And it's just like, you got to just let things happen, because you can kind of get stuck if you start analyzing too much. And it's just like, then you're getting in the way of the process.
Right. And it also too, is analysis really awareness?
Good.
Like, I don't think so. I feel like to be truly aware is to have no thoughts. Who the hell doesn't have thoughts? I don't know. I don't think that's the point. I don't think the point is to be thoughtless. I think it's to have more positive thoughts. But by the same token, I think sometimes I can speak for myself. Like, I have forgotten that the point isn't to figure out what nobody else knows and have this big secret and have it all figured out. The point is to just be in every space and be in every moment. So anyways, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk. So I was looking at your YouTube channel, and you have so many amazing videos. I mean, your global peace meditation has 4.3 thousand views, and you uploaded it yesterday. Holy shit.
That blew my mind. I did that live stream, on April 4th. And there were over 800 people live with me from everywhere.
What's your secret? Come on, tell us the scoop. Give us the details.
Oh man, amazing. Okay, I don't know. Did you get that email about the mass meditation that was happening?
No, I actually didn't. Somebody, like one of my friends, I think he's having a rough time. He posted about it like 2 days after. Like, he was like 444 meditation, and I was like, it's the 6th. But I think it was a beautiful idea. But no, I didn't get an email. Who sent out this email?
I don't know where it originated from. It was a MailChimp campaign, and it's from globalpeacemeditation.com. And their whole thing is they want to shift the vibration of the planet by getting as many people to meditate together at the same time as possible. I had just seen it that morning, and I was reading the email. I was like, okay, I get this, but it's a lot of like kind of out there language. It's just talking about ascension timelines and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I want to do this on my channel in a bit more of an accessible way. And so I just intuitively followed that ping and scheduled the thing. And then all of a sudden, here's all these people. I don't know.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, they were definitely tuned into you, and exactly what you just said of, taking these spiritual concepts and translating them to a real physical plane in a way that makes sense to somebody who's never meditated before.
Yeah.
And it's not like those people, like, there's nothing wrong with people who've never meditated before, but like some of the jargon that we say, like, we'll be like, oh yeah, like, it's just like, when your best friend gets a cold and you're like, it's just ascension symptoms, Liz, like, calm down. Somebody else would be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Totally.
It's like, if you could take that.
What are you doing?
Right. And I think that's kind of the reason why there's such a stigma, but it's like, everybody, I think, believes in the concepts. It's just the words. So I think it's beautiful that you notice that, and you're like, okay, like, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to use my route.
And, I want to, just bring as many people online as possible. get them meditating, get
Mhm.
them just getting more aware of everything that's going on in their life. It's cool.
Mhm. So freaking cool. So cool. Your videos are so cool. So what did you learn? Like, what was kind of like your biggest learning lesson from leading that meditation? You know, you had 800 people lined up, 800 people tuned in at that time. So, you know, feeling into the energy of 800 people when you're leading up that meditation, what was that experience like?
It was amazing and so intense.
So cool.
Yeah, I actually it was amazing, and there was just so much loving energy. It was just like I was vibrating and sweating and just like, it was so beautiful, and I got off of the meditation and just started bawling. I think I was crying for like a half an hour because it was just like it was amazing. I could feel everybody and everyone meditating at the same time with the same intention. It's just like, this is what I live for, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is your gift. So like, that's the thing about empaths too. Another thing to point out is like, somebody would be like, oh, I've been crying all day. And like somebody else would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And empaths are like, that's amazing. Oh my God, congratulations. Like, that's amazing. I had to just, you know, bust both of our balls on that. But yes, no, I think it's beautiful. And I think it's so beautiful too that I think that experience in itself is just showing how beautiful and how beautiful the transmutation of energy is, and how it's like, it's almost like you absorbed that and then you were able to transmute that energy into light through your crying, through that grieving of that whirlwind of emotions that you experienced after. I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was yeah, I don't even know if it was grieving so much as it was just I got overwhelmed by the love and the connection and just like, I know I'm kind of a big baby, but it's just like it was so beautiful that I just had to cry.
Yeah, no, it's not, you're not a baby, you're human. That's beautiful. That's so amazing. I would love to ask you about metaphysics. Hello. So you said before we got on this call that your YouTube channel is about spirituality, metaphysics, and personal development. So where do you see the connection between those three topics?
I think they all go together because, well, everything is connected. So like our physical bodies, our emotions, our etheric bodies, everything is connected. And so, you know, whenever we're doing any kind of spiritual work, it does call us to develop personally as well. It's like we can't explore all these spiritual topics without questioning our belief systems and our thought patterns and how we move through life. If we really want to progress on the spiritual path, it's my belief that it's so important to do the shadow work and to get like then you're learning about psychology and how your brain works and how other people's brains work, and just looking at culture on the whole. So I think it's all connected and it all goes together. And we're all here trying to figure out what it is to be a human and how to navigate this life. And yeah, we're all ascending, we're all on our own journeys, but it's like we're still all equal at the same time.
Yeah, I love that. And it's true. It's like no matter where you are in your journey, we are all equal. And I think spirituality, metaphysics, and personal development should be weighted the same on our scale of importance. Like, that to me is the recipe for manifesting anything, right?
100%. And that's why like it's important too. I've noticed a trend, like we really tend to focus on the ascension and the ups and the higher chakras, but if we're really going to grow and manifest things, we have to have all of our all of the chakras online. Everything has to be balanced. We have to be just as grounded as we are expansive. Otherwise we'll just float away.
Yeah. Wow, I think that was channeled for me because I struggle with that. I'm so like crown third eye, and then my root and my sacral, my solar plexus are like completely dead. They just like don't know what to do. They can't hang. I'm like up here all the time. So I think that's really beautiful, and it's true, you know. And it's like I think that's probably where personal development comes in, is that real grounding. Like, okay, like discipline yourself, you know, take time out of your day, set routine, set structure. And then the spirituality is believing and knowing that there's more out there than what meets the eye, and then that metaphysics is energy, which is my favorite fucking thing ever. So I'm so glad that you wrote that. I love physics. Like, I made this whole video the other day. I don't know what was going on. I was getting some sort of flashback to like 8th grade physics. And I was like, there's a spring and the kinetic energy and the potential energy. And I remember I even showed it to, my dad's pretty like not spiritual, but I show him some of my stuff sometimes because it's good practice to see, okay, what does somebody who doesn't normally watch this stuff think? Mm-hmm. So I was like, Dad, what do you think about this video? And he just looked at it and he started laughing. He was like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of out there, but it kind of makes sense. And I was like, and I think sometimes we need that grounding energy of remembering that we are we're spiritual beings having a human experience, key on the human experience. Totally. We gotta, work and pay bills and whatever. So Vanessa, I want to ask you, like, with everything that's going on with coronavirus, I didn't tell you I was going to talk to you about this, but I just thought it might be a good way to kind of end our call and end our podcast today. What kind of advice do you have for the collective energy right now, for anybody tuning in when it comes to kind of coping and sitting with COVID-19?
Well, that's a good question. I think the best thing that we can do during these times is to just really sink into the day-to-day and being in the moment as much as possible, because this virus situation that's happening is stirring up so many emotions for all of us. It's stirring up so much shadow for the whole planet. And our emotions we can be on a freaking roller coaster. Like, I had a full-on meltdown a few days ago, and it's all part of it. And if you need to cry, then cry. And if you need to sleep, freaking sleep, because this is all part of the healing process here. And none of it is wrong. Like, freaking out doesn't make you less spiritual.
I know. That's another thing too. It's like, okay, like, let's not. Sorry, I'm such like a mother. Like, I have like tough motherly love sometimes. I get so annoyed and like, no, like, don't tell that person to fucking just be positive. Like, if they're upset, let them be upset.
Exactly. And being positive doesn't make you more spiritual. Actually, more spiritual is a bunch of shit anyway.
Also, what does it even mean? Yeah. How do we're both like, scale out.
Yeah.
Are you spiritual enough? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. But like, and also like, if you're feeling joyful in the moment, allow yourself that too. You don't have to feel guilty for feeling good while there's weird shit happening in the world. Like, just allowing ourselves space and actually taking time during this time to really go in and see what's going on with ourselves. Like, being isolated is really, I feel like, the universe kind of inviting us inside to actually connect with ourselves and to actually look at what is and isn't working in our lives and how we want to show up and how we want to come out of this thing. So
totally,
spending some time exploring that too would be a really good thing.
Thank you for sharing that wisdom. Yeah, and I would piggyback off of that and saying it's all really just about honoring what you feel. So, and I think some kind of like energy I'm picking up on is like some people telling people they should do more, and some people telling people they should slow down. And I think this is really about going within and asking yourself what yourself wants to do. If yourself wants to kick it into high gear and do a 24-hour day, like 3 days a week, then you should just do that. Like, go do that. You're trying to manifest something. Your spirit knows what's up. Maybe there's something, maybe you have the cure for coronavirus on the other end of that. I don't know, right? Like, that's life force. Like, get that out. But also, if you're tired, if your body is like, yo, stop, then stop. You know, and stop caring about what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you want and what your higher self wants.
Exactly. And what your body wants, because it's probably going to be changing day to day.
Also true. Yeah. It's like, do you ever have, I don't know about you, but like some days I want to run like 12 miles. I'm really big on intuitive movement. So I kind of just like work out based off of what my body wants. And then other days it's like, okay, so about that. Like, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely, yeah. Some days I'm just like, freaking, I'm awake till like 4 a.m. brainstorming, and then other days I'm sleeping for like 12 hours.
Amazing.
It's just whatever needs to happen happens. If I need to run, then I'll run, or I'll dance, or I'll sleep.
So cool. I love that. Oh, I love that. Well, I want to ask you, like, what is next for you? I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive. We're just talking about being in the moment, right? Not thinking in the future, but what are some intentions you have for April? As the month of April continues on, like, what are some intentions of things you want to welcome into your life?
Oh, very cool. It's kind of interesting. I was just talking with a friend of mine, speaking of going a million miles an hour. She and I both always have so many ideas and so many things we're working on, but we're really being called to in April, just focus all of our energy on one thing. Mm-hmm. And just really love that one thing up. So for me, that's just like really funneling all of my energy into my YouTube channel. And I've got so many ideas. So I'm welcoming in more space, because I'm used to going, great guns all the time. So I'm just welcoming in more space, more freedom in terms of just more creativity. That's the big thing.
Love it, love it, love it. Cheers to expansion, cheers to creativity, cheers to flow. Amazing. So I would love to wrap up our podcast today with asking you what I always like to ask people, which is, what is something that you're grateful for today?
Oh, one thing?
Give me a couple things. Give me a list.
Hot coffee.
Yes,
I had
always.
a shower today, sunshine, and I'm super grateful for the internet that allows us to connect with so many amazing people all over the world any time of the day. I'm really grateful for you having me on this podcast, and I'm grateful that we've connected, because it's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, sister. Yeah, cheers to all of that. So true, so divine. I used to hate the internet, and now I'm like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. Like, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And what is something that you can congratulate or celebrate yourself for today?
Oh. You know what? I'm going to take something simple today and just drinking a bunch of water.
That's self-care.
And leading a bomb-ass meditation the other day.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, half of the world. Sorry, I think that's so cool. I literally think that's like the coolest thing. I'm like fangirling over here. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you, Vanessa, for coming on.
For having me.
Thank you, beautiful people, for coming on. If you want to see or listen to Vanessa's literally famous meditation, or follow her for her beautiful videos on spirituality, metaphysics, and personal development, I would highly, highly, highly recommend using her as a resource if you're going through any sort of spiritual awakening, or if you're just curious about what it is that the hippies are talking about these days, or you're just looking for some kind of comfort and like a warm, friendly voice, she's on YouTube. Her name is Vanessa Ooms, and it's OOMS. I'll put her information in the bio of this podcast or in the bio of this YouTube video if you're watching. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one or in a group setting for women's empowerment or intuitive biz coaching, you can follow me on Instagram at _JESSWINANS and sign up for a free consultation with me. Lots of love and all that jazz, and we'll talk soon. Bye.